That's how I got into it.
And here we are. Stand up, you guys, and give us your name, too. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
You know, I always say this, and I know this just makes you feel awkward. Everything I ever shot with him was just so much fun because he was such a great freak. Not but actual Ash, because you seldom see. For one thing, he was such a great character, and when you see an actor that's so committed to stepping over that line and being something totally different, and you guys saw a different product than we originally shot. I mean, Ash was a man to be reckoned with.
He was out there.
He was way out there, and they reined him in a bit from what you guys saw. The stuff that we shot, I remember Kim Manners turning to me and going, "Can I swear? Do we have any, where's that 13-year-old? Is she in here?" No, okay. I'm just quoting somebody, but the director finally said, "Jesus Christ," he either said this Chad or Sam, just say the fucking lines. And this is just because that's what Kim Manners said. And he was kind of that guy because I just couldn't deliver my lines to this face. I just couldn't. He's always doing stuff, and he's flicking his hair, and he's drinking beer, and that was always the most fun I ever had. Yes, the mullet, exactly. And Chad had this thing that when the hair went on, he turned into, Ash came out and Chad disappeared. He had a butt in his head, he hasn't been smoking. A cigarette in his hand was behind his, and it was always a little, it was the Breck commercial. There was a lot of this. A lot of fun, and it's nice to see somebody that committed. So my favorite stuff was always when he was around, because he would just he'd drink somebody else's beer, he'd do a weird thing with his eyes. I might give you that. Give him a little, can you give him a little ash face?
Ash face? Ooh, whoa, whoa. Favorite part? I liked all of it. You know, I mean, there was nothing that really stood out, and we had a lot of fun on set.
The nude scene.
What? The nude scene. Yeah, maybe that, yeah, okay, I guess that sticks out a little bit. Yeah, the nude scene. I had this little bikini underwear thing on, and it's the color of your skin, so you can't really see. And yeah, we all had a hard time keeping a straight face. Jared and Jensen were like, I don't know, we had a lot of good laughs that day. So yeah, it was all good times.
Well, my favorite scene was when I got to be thrown around by Jared. I know you'd appreciate that. I got thrown around by Jared.
I think there's a few people out there that would like to be thrown around by Jared. Or Jensen.
Or Jensen.
Or Chad. Or Chad.
Yeah, it was funny to do that scene. I don't need to say much more than that.
Yeah, right there.
Hi. My name's Early. Anyway, I don't know. Back off of her question. What drew you to your character? Like, what was the moment you kind of like, okay, this is really Ellen right here. This is really Ash. This is really Joe.
I don't know. That's a weird question. You start. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what it is? You just start doing something that starts to grow on you. I don't think you just start, I think when you start a new character, when we got brought in, as you start doing it, you start rolling into the kit. Yeah, it's a process. You don't just go, okay, this is Ellen, this is the way.
Yeah, they don't give you much in the beginning. You kind of come up with your own idea of what the character is. Like I asked, a girl asked me not that long ago a similar question, and I told her in the beginning, I didn't know that Joe was inexperienced. Do you know what I mean? I went in there knowing that she was a hunter, just like them, who grew up with hunters. And later I found out that she was inexperienced. So you kind of have to go with what everybody else who's creating this with you is doing.
That and like, you don't know what next week they're going to write. you know, you're kind of on a need-to-know basis, and then you can get there that day, and they can totally revamp everything that you've learned for that day. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, anyway, it's a process. It's not just a cut and dry. You come to it and you start learning. Like, Ellen didn't have an accent when I first started, and then by the end of the first episode, it's like, oh yeah, she's got a southern accent. You just sort of, it's organic, I guess, without sounding too actory. You just, the character just sort of takes you over and you roll with it, I think. Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm Amber. I was wondering, what is your, if, like, say, Ash had died and Joe hadn't sort of been like, okay, see you later, Dean, where would you have liked to have seen your characters go?
I always thought they should have brought Ash out on the road at least once. You know, I always envisioned Sam and Dean being, you know, like, you know, the shit's going down with Sam and Dean and they're in trouble, and then Ash kind of like... That's where I would like to see it go. But that's me.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I love
He doesn't say anything, he just busts the door open, bang!
He did it
Bow
on
and
his
arrow.
own.
And you never think that Ash could shoot a gun, but he's like the trickster, master trickster, but one of those... He's that guy.
Exactly, he doesn't say a word.
No. Or
leaves.
a really intense moment in the car, and then all of a sudden you pop up in the middle. Hi, guys. Really, brothers, driving down the... Hi, guys. Dude.
So many possibilities with Ash. It's endless. As for Joe, first of all, I didn't say goodbye to Dean. He said goodbye to me. I am the victim here. Well, I don't know. I would have liked to see her grow more. It started developing really nicely in that episode. You know, she matured and you know, calmed down a little bit. And I would have liked to see her kick some ass for real. You know, and that's it.
That's a tough one, because Ellen got to develop quite a bit, and it sort of ended a bit abruptly. Not that it's completely over, but it ended for me a bit abruptly, so I probably would have just kept going the way Ellen was going. You know, I think she would have gone out on the road. I think she had a really cool car. I think she had the big old Wagoneer Jeep, but it was purple, with a fuzzy interior. It had a name too. I don't know what that name would be, Fuzzy Guys. She'd be out there with the boys, but you know, there were a lot of ideas thrown around on what Ellen was going to do, and that's a question that nobody can answer except for probably Eric and Sarah and the producers. They're the only ones that probably, because they have ideas way in advance. So I'm sure there was a plan for Ellen, we don't know what it is yet. It may have yet to happen, but yes, over here. This gal's from Vienna.
My name's Gabby. First, a question to you. I saw the episode when you got captured by the demon who put you into the wall. And I want to know how scary it was, because it was so tight, everything, or on TV it looked so tight. And the question to all of you three is, how much are you allowed to put into a character of yourself, or to interpret the character?
How much of yourself you put into a character? A lot of myself, a part of myself, specifically for this character. She's very different from me at the same time, but the stubbornness and the toughness, I guess, I took from a different part of my life. But all the other stuff is not very similar to me. I'd like to think that's where the acting comes in, at least for me.
And how about working in the walls? I think she's talking about that episode where you were stuck in the
It was actually a very confined space. They did actually build a coffin-like place for me to be, where there was only either half a wall missing, and it was very confining and stressful. And I don't like confined spaces. I'm very claustrophobic, So 16 hours shooting it on sideways when your head's like that, and you got a cramp at the end of it. So I wasn't happy, and I think that showed. I wasn't happy with the situation.
You always put yourself in your characters, no matter what you play, I feel.
You can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it. I mean, that's why they hire you, partly. You know.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's an organic thing. There has to be a part of you in that. It wouldn't be very real if it wasn't. So there's always a bit of you in there. Now, you may stretch it at some level, but there's always a lot of you. Ellen is very much me, and I'm proud of that. And she's a brother. E.G. Yes, way back there, darling.